Hi, this is Yvonne McNary for Central Kentucky Television, and we're going to do a one-skillet dinner here today with my guest, Juanita Heron from the Marion County Extension Office.
Hello, Yvonne. How are you?
I'm doing really good, and I think I'll be doing even better by the time we get done with this one-skillet dinner.
Oh, good. Yeah, this is a very easy one-skillet dinner, and you know I like those easy things, don't you?
Yeah, I certainly do, and I want to have our viewers get that pencil and paper together so that they can get this recipe because it is a good one. You can stop by the Extension office and pick up one of these.
Yes, you can.
Or you can write it down here now if you don't want to take the time. We've got 1 pound of ground beef, 2 cups of sliced potatoes, we have 3/4 cups of water, 1 small onion sliced, and we have that in the bowl already, already sliced up. And we have 1 package of taco seasonings, and we have Mexican blend cheese, which is optional.
Yes.
Because not everybody likes cheese.
That's right, and you know, cheese is part of my plate. It's from our dairy group, but a lot of times people think it's adding a few more calories to it. So, you know, this is, like you said, and a lot of times people cannot have cheese because of the lactose intolerance.
Yes, indeed. And also one thing, too, about this one-skillet meals, they're fast.
They're fast.
So for those ladies out there, ladies and men who work every day and want to come home and make a quick meal for the kids, something that they can clean up really quick, too.
Clean up, and it is a hot, hearty meal. You know, it's better than a cold sandwich.
Yeah.
You know.
Anytime. Anytime. I love your recipes.
Oh, thank you.
Let's go ahead and get started.
Okay. Well, we brought our little electric skillet, and people at home might have electric skillet, or you could even do this on your stove top. And what we're going to do, I'm heating it up, and I have used 1 pound of ground beef. Now you see, Yvonne, I am using 80-20%. I'm doing 80% lean and 20% fat.
Now, how important is that?
That's very important. That's about your about the best grade that we can get, except when we go into that 97.3. It doesn't have hardly any fat in it at all, but you know too, the fat has a little flavor that we like. But this is something that when you're cooking it, it's not going to all be grease.
Turn to fat.
Yes, turn to fat.
I do know too that when you buy the different grades of meat, there's a different price difference.
Different price. Well, this 80-20% is about your average price that you give. I think today I give $3.49 for this 1 pound of ground beef.
Okay.
And the other was $5.99. Okay. So what do you maybe think to do this?
Yeah. Well, yeah, this works out really good, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. So I'm going to open up my package here of my ground beef. You see, I'm trying not to put my hands on this raw meat. Don't like to do that. So it's sizzled already, Yvonne.
I'll take this out of your way.
Okay. And I'm just going to break it up a little bit here in my skillet. And what we have to do after we brown our ground beef, I know all the listeners knows that we've got to drain some of this fat off, right? Because we don't want that old taste of that fat in there, do we? So,
and also it makes your dish kind of greasy.
Right, it does.
You don't drain it off.
Do we need all that fat?
No, we don't.
Absolutely
no,
not. No, none of us do.
None of us do.
Even though I said the fat does have a little flavor to it, because we're used to that in our palates, that taste, and it does make it taste good. But you see, we're already browning.
Yes. And it didn't take long, did it?
No, it doesn't take long. But you want to remember, when you are browning ground beef, you want to make sure there is no pink.
Okay.
No pink. Hamburger is one of the cuts of meat that you cannot have any pink in it whatsoever. Okay. Because I know a lot of people said they like things medium rare. No, not ground beef.
Yeah.
Not even that hamburger that is so good, right?
Well, you know, too, this is contained. This is so contained, we don't have an oven or anything around.
Exactly.
So we can have our kids help us with this.
Exactly, and you know how I am, Yvonne. I'm all about kids helping the grown-up cook the meal.
Yes.
Because I think they eat it better.
Yeah, they
don't
do.
you?
Yeah, they got more in it.
I know. Can you smell that, Yvonne?
Yes,
yeah, you're smelling that.
Yeah. Ground beef.
Now, of course, we're doing this one skillet meal, and we're only doing 1 pound of ground beef. But I'd like to say this only makes about 4 one-cup servings.
Okay.
Okay. So it depends on the size of your family. They might have to double the recipe. They might want to double it, but it's still so easy to just double the recipe.
And if you're an empty nest family,
Empty nest, this would be good.
yes,
Have it for your lunch, your dinner, and have some leftovers for the next day.
that's right. Oh,
And
that
you know,
sounds good.
well, I love leftovers though.
And then, you know, I always think about, well, you know, the way I fixed it today, I don't have to fix it the same way tomorrow when it's a leftover. I can
Exactly.
I can put barbecue sauce on it if I wanted to.
You could, or maybe you don't want it the next day. Maybe you're going to wait another day. It would still be good in the refrigerator. Keep it tightly sealed, and then you might bring it out. You might, you know, we're going to add a little cheese to this. Maybe you didn't add cheese to it the first time. Might want to add a little cheese. You know, maybe if you're like me, you like some peppers. You can just sprinkle a little pepper on it, right?
That sounds good too. Those pretty peppers.
Yes.
Green peppers. Lots of good flavor with it too. So we're trying to give you some alternatives because we know not everybody. I know we have some. Not everybody likes the same things, and we do have some kind of picky kids sometimes.
Yes, we do, and that's what you notice that we are going to use some potatoes here in a few minutes. Okay, let me say while this is cooking. When you see Yvonne was saying that we did a canned sliced potato. Now, I don't know if anybody has used the canned potatoes before. Now, like you said, maybe if there's just one or two in the family, maybe you don't want to buy a whole 5-pound bag of potatoes. These little cans of potatoes are, a lot of times you can find them very reasonable.
Okay.
You know, less than a buck, or maybe, you know, even less. So you could take that potato and you have that, and you can just use that instead of having to peel potatoes.
That's right.
Maybe you're afraid your kids are going to peel potatoes.
And if you're like
cut
me,
yourself.
a whole 10-pound bag of potatoes, they go bad before I
They will go bad. That's exactly right.
Can of potatoes, it'd be a really good idea.
And I hear pros and cons about the canned potatoes, that people do not like them. They say, oh, they're not as good. Well, Yvonne, you're going to get to sample this shortly.
Okay.
And you can tell me how well you like the potatoes.
Okay.
Okay?
I can do that.
Now, you see that our skillet does have grease in it. And this was 80-20. So, you know, if we were using a 73-27, we're going to have lots more grease and less of our meat.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, because that fat burns down and you have less meat in there.
It sure does.
Like I said, this is a great meal for, like I said, that single person, the single parent.
Exactly.
Few kids in the house, maybe. And if you're retired on a fixed income, this works out really well too.
It sure does. And you know, a lot of times we're using ground beef. Some people said, I don't eat beef. I do ground turkey. This is an excellent recipe to do with ground turkey also. Okay, we don't like too much more, Yvonne.
It's coming really good.
It is, and I sure wouldn't want to eat all that grease in there, would you?
No, I don't think so, Juanita. I don't think so. And like you said, this was 80-20.
Yes.
So we still get quite a bit of fat in here.
Right. And I think, I don't know, I'm not at the, well, I am at the grocery store all the time, but I've never heard of feedback from the grocer. How many do they use, sell more of this 80-20 than they do the higher than or the lower? So,
and that's pretty much up to you. You know, if you decide you want to use the 97.3 for your particular meal,
you
or whatever,
can.
It's all in options.
It's all in options. That's exactly right. But if I was going to the grocery store personally, I would be doing the 80-20.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. I think we're just about got all of the pink out, Yvonne. And I'm going to ask you if you'll just unplug me right here.
Got you unplugged.
I have to just bend down here just a minute. And Yvonne, I'm going to let you hold that, and I don't want to burn you. I am going to strain this. And you noticed I've got my little strainer and my bowl.
We've got a bowl here. And
what have I got inside? I've got a paper towel to soak up some of that grease also that we don't want down in our bowl. So Yvonne, if you'll just kind of set it right here in the center. And I'm just gonna, you might want to hold the handle for me.
Okay,
and this would be something you were doing with your family, some young people. You know, you might say, you hold the handle and let me
do the
pouring because we do not want anybody to be burned. Okay, Yvonne, if you'll just step that back.
Okay, got that.
All right. She's going to plug me up. I got just a little bit on the tablecloth. Okay. And she's going to plug me up. And while she's doing that,
there you go.
I'm going to put my ground beef. And it had a little bit of grease in there. So Yvonne, we're going to just set that. I'll set that back down here or just anywhere.
Right
so I went ahead and chopped up some onion because when I was chopping these up, I had tears coming down my eyes.
I bet you did.
This morning.
They're pretty strong.
Can you smell them?
Yes, I can.
So it said 1 small onion, and my onion was kind of a large. So we're going to put about half of this onion in here. I'll let you put the lid on. I don't want her to be crying.
That's right.
So then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our 2 cups of potatoes. Now, like I said, this 15-ounce can of potatoes will be approximately about 2 cups, and we have drained those very well. And then I'm going to put my taco seasoning on.
Ooh, that sounds good. Taco seasoning is always good, isn't it?
It's always good. And then I'm going to add 3/4 cups of water over that. And then we're just going to stir it up just a tad. Blend
now,
all of this.
I noticed something too.
Yes.
That you didn't add any salt
exactly.
to meat. And you're taking your spices from your taco
yes,
here.
Because if you're doing any kind of taco seasoning, it is going to be pretty salty, the salt contents. Now, if you really have trouble with salt, I better take it all out of there, wouldn't I, Yvonne? You can get some reduced sodium taco seasoning also, but this will be plenty of salt. You know, everybody thinks we have to salt everything over and over and over, right? But the thing of it is we don't need but about a teaspoon of salt all day. And
the seasoning from the taco mix is going to go through all the potatoes and the meat and all that, and then with the onions in there as well, it's all going to blend and make a really good flavor.
And you see that we've got it blended in. Get all those little potatoes in, and it's just cooking just very nicely.
It's coming to a simmer. Just
simmer. That's right.
A little bit.
Wait a minute, it's right here.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to, you could turn this down low at home. You could put your lid on your skillet. And you may be getting your salad. This would be great with a nice salad.
Yes, it would.
You might be doing salad or something to drink. You could just get it all blended in. And approximately, this would take you, well, even if you peel potatoes, this would be less than a 30-minute meal.
Certainly would. And you know what? I'm going to give this recipe again.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. We use 1 pound of ground beef. We use 2 cups of sliced potatoes, which we use the ones in the can. 3/4 cups of water. 1 small onion sliced, 1 package of taco seasoning, and we have Mexican blend cheese as an option to go on top.
Yes.
So for those of you who would like to try something different, this just might be it.
Yes.
Different, simple, quick.
And very reasonably priced.
Yes, it is. And it's all contained. When you say one skillet, it's all everything's contained in one area.
Yes. So, and like we were talking when I came in, talking about the weather being cool. It's cool, and this would be a nice, one of those crisp fall evening meals.
Yes, it would. And the hamburger and potatoes are all comfort foods.
Oh, I know. I know.
Those potatoes.
You can't go wrong with a potato, right, Yvonne?
No, you can't. No, you can't. And it, like I said, it's cooking really good here.
Yes.
And we're getting all those the seasonings to blend as we cook.
Right, and you see on the recipe it said make sure your potatoes are tender. Well, you can see when I poke into them, they're tender.
They're tender.
They're tender. That's why I like to use these canned
potatoes.
potatoes.
Worry about that part of it.
Yes.
And again, if you have picky eaters in your family, there are some different things that you can add to this, right?
There is so many different things that you can add. Maybe they said they don't like onions, okay? But onions are so good with the flavor. But you could do, if they don't like the crunchiness of an onion, you might do a little onion powder with it. You could do
just to give it that flavor.
Just to give it a little bit of that flavor to it.
Okay, and we talked about the fresh peppers, the
We
green,
could-
green and red,
yes, oh, I
yellow,
know.
and all those.
I think our picture shows some, maybe some red peppers on top of it.
Yes, it does.
And if you'll hand me some cheese,
Okay.
I am going to just sprinkle because it is done. You know, everything is done. That's what I like. As soon as your ground beef is pretty well cooked, and all we're going to do, we're just going to add some cheese. And it says optional. It doesn't say a half a cup. It doesn't say 3/4.
No.
So you kindly be your own judge.
You got people in your family who just love cheese.
I'm one of them because I love cheese. But you just look, there is your one little skillet meal. It took us just a very few minutes.
Just a very few minutes, yes, indeed.
And you can add more vegetables to it if you want to. But again, this is very easy and very economical for anybody.
Yes, indeed. This looks wonderful, and it smells fantastic.
I know. I wish the viewers could smell, don't you?
Smell-o-vision.
Yes. So, again, like Yvonne says, we have these recipes here at work.
I'm going to taste it.
You're going to take, let me get your
I'm a
plate
taste
up.
tester.
She's a taste tester. She's our critic. She's our food critic, right? Are you a cheese person?
Yes, I am. That's wonderful. That's good.
Is that enough?
That's enough right there.
Okay, let me give her a fork.
Now, I am going to taste hamburger hash.
Hamburger hash. And that is, you know, a lot of times people think hash, you just kind of throw everything together. Well, really, we just kind of threw it in the skillet together,
We
didn't
kind
we?
of did, didn't we?
Yes, we
I've
did.
got cheese, I've got hamburger, and
Just
I've got
don't burn
potatoes
your
on here.
mouth. Very simple, isn't it?
It's delicious.
Good, thank you.
It is marvelous, yes, indeed. You did a great job with this.
And I have to say, may I say this? UK, the recipes that we use are all true and tried by the University of Kentucky. That's who we work for. That's who the Cooperative Extension is through. And we cannot do recipes unless they have been tried and true from the university, and that's where we get our recipes from.
Okay. Well, they did a great job on this one.
Yeah, it's easy.
Very
And
easy.
kids really love this one.
Yes, indeed. And this is just one of many.
Yes, one of many.
One skillet recipes that Juanita has through the Extension office. And maybe you'll come back sometime and do some more for us.
I sure will.
All right, fantastic. Well, listen, I'm going to finish my hamburger hash, and I want to thank everyone for joining us today with this. And this has been Yvonne McMary for Central Kentucky Television.